Welcome back. Vice President Harris and the Democrats suddenly talking tough on the border. They're getting religion 75 days before the election, including in a Harris ad campaign titled Tougher, in which Harris promises to hire thousands more Border Patrol agents if elected. She fails to mention the surging number of agents reportedly leaving the agency under the Biden-Harris administration. So far, more than 4,000 have left since October 2020. The New York Post reports former Yuma Border Patrol Chief Chris Clem said Harris talking tough on the border is, quote, just putting salt on the gaping wound. Joining me now is former U.S. Border Patrol Chief and Texas Public Policy Foundation Distinguished Senior Fellow for Border Security, Rodney Scott. Rodney, it's great to see you again. Thanks so much for being here this morning. Give us your take on immigration, the border under Kamala Harris as vice president and border czar.
Well, thank you for having me on, Maria. You know, the vice president in a lot of her speeches talks about wanting to be unburdened by the past. And that's really what she's trying to do here. They've had 3.5 years where all they had to do is leave everything alone, and we would have had the most secure border this country ever had, because that's what we handed them. But they tore every bit of that down, every policy, even physical infrastructure. They refused to finish building border wall, as you know, and that created this crisis. The only reason the numbers are dropping today is because they went into a panic mode and they asked Mexico to do what the United States should be doing, which is to secure our border. So actually the Mexican government setting up checkpoints right now and enforcing their laws, that is the primary reason we're seeing a reduction of flow in between the ports of entry. But Maria, please look at the national encounter numbers, not just the stuff that they cherry pick. 170,000 illegal aliens were processed by CBP last month. Those are still record numbers. It's just that they're pushing over 100,000 a month through the ports of entry now.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Harris has always supported open borders.
Moving the chessboard around, right? But you still have an enormous number of people, but you move the deck chairs around. But I want to get your take on the impact. I mean, what have you seen? You've been up close and personal with all of this over these last several years. What have you seen in terms of the impact of 10 million illegals in this country on Joe Biden's watch?
So the illegal immigration is very important, Maria, but I got to remind people, the cartels use illegal immigration as a tool to overwhelm law enforcement, to keep law enforcement, Border Patrol busy, so that they can bring in a second wave, the gotaways, whether it's fentanyl, cocaine, heroin. We don't talk about all of those threats that are across this entire country every day. Over 300 Americans are dying every day from opioid overdoses. And that's on top of the crime that you talked about earlier on the show that is all accurate. That's on top of our emergency rooms being overwhelmed by illegal immigrants getting free medical care because they can't be turned away. Our schools are being inundated. We just cannot sustain this massive influx of people. It's unsustainable, and it doesn't matter where you live. This is touching your communities. And the worst is what we don't see. That's the terrorists, China infiltrating, all of that.
What do you think about the China infiltration? I mean, there have been 50,000 Chinese nationals who've come into this country illegally apprehended at the border just in the last 2 years. What are they here for? I mean, let's face it, you're talking about communist China. You can't just pick up your bags and say, hey, Xi Jinping, I'm out of here. I'm going to live in America. No, you need approval to leave that country. It's a communist country. So are they being directed to come here? What's the story?
I believe they're being directed to come here, and America needs to understand these are primarily single adults. China has had a plan to basically infiltrate for years. People are like, well, what are they going to do? Well, think about it. We have a lot of intelligence agencies that if China's trying to manipulate our elections from outside through internet or whatever, we can intercept that. But now when they're sitting in Chicago on a normal internet system in an internet cafe, we don't have the legal ability to be able to track what they say.
Wow.
Or what they do. This is a real threat. We've literally allowed, a foreign nation that is an enemy, we've allowed them to just have spies walk directly into the country, and we've actually handed them paperwork so they can move around freely.
That's unbelievable. And Tim Walz has real connections in China. We're wondering if, in fact, if he gets in as vice president, is his approach going to be soft on China approach and make things even worse?
I can tell you this, I've not heard a single thing out of the current administration or the Harris campaign that talks about putting Americans and Americans' needs first.
Yeah.
Even the speeches at the convention are all about helping illegal immigrants, and allowing more people into our country.
Well, a Department of Homeland Security watchdog finds Immigration and Customs Enforcement lost track of more than 32,000 children over the last 5 years. As of this May, 291,000 unaccompanied migrant children have not been designated for removal because ICE has routinely failed to serve notices and schedule court dates. All of this occurring under the Biden-Harris administration. And yet former President Obama was slamming Trump last night on the issue. Watch this.
A Harris-Walz administration can help us move past some of the tired old debates that keep stifling progress. Kamala and Tim understand that when everybody gets a fair shot, we are all better off. They understand that when every child gets a good education, the whole economy gets stronger. They understand that we can secure our borders without tearing kids away from their parents.
Rodney, how is this occurring, and what do you make of what he just said? I mean, he said they understand that we can secure our border. So how come she hasn't secured the border in the last 3.5 years?
Because they don't want to, and their policies are very clear, and actually outside of the current campaign, their rhetoric is very, very clear. You know, they pick and choose talking points, but again, let's talk about the kids. I'll even talk about that Senate bill that everybody lies about and says it was such a great bipartisan bill. It did not touch child trafficking. It left the unaccompanied minor loopholes wide open. You know why ICE is having such a hard time? And it's not a failure on ICE's part. It's a failure on the administration, why they're having a hard time tracking those kids. They came in illegally, and they want to hide. They've already got their paperwork to move around. They've been reunited with their illegal alien parents, and then they go off the grid and hide from ICE. Well, when you have 400,000 of them crossing the border under the Biden administration, we simply don't have the resources to go after the 300 and some plus terrorists that have come into this country and be able to track them and track the kids at the same time.
Yeah.
ICE just has to prioritize.
It's a great point. Rodney Scott, always great to see you. We so appreciate your time and, of course, your service to this great country. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Maria. Have a good day.
Rodney Scott.